So, good.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back to Chat With. This is the second episode, and we have one of the most passionate, one of the most outspoken arm wrestler from the Ottawa Highhookers, Yannick, Postman. How you
What's
doing?
up,
Thanks for
brother?
dropping by, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. So tell me about how you started with arm wrestling and what year was it and how you stuck with it.
Yeah, so I remember a long time ago, right before I even started arm wrestling recently, 2.5 years ago, I used to actually watch arm wrestling on TV. I remember watching Devon when I was still a young teen. And I've always been passionate about power and strength. So strongman, WWF, arm wrestling, anything that had to do with men being strong, I've always been a big passionate about. Ever since I was a kid, being strong was really something interesting to me. I was already bigger and kind of naturally stronger than people. So that side of thing, the story of Hercules, all these things kind of, but arm wrestling, I really started 2.5 years ago, and it's my brother, the Slim Reaper, who got me into it. And it was during the pandemic, like I think a lot of us started, I think, during the pandemic. And he was really into it, I think even before a little bit the pandemic, but I always thought it was weird. I'm like, arm wrestling? Like,
it's a quite a new
at first, I'm like, you're like, really? Like practices and training and so I would see him in the basement, and he's really passionate. As you know, my brother, he's really passionate, and he would work out every night, and I would look at him, and I had nothing to do because it was COVID. There was a pandemic, and everything was closed. So at one point, I was like, let me try, because we had a table at home. And he proceeded to kick my ass. He kicked my ass. And
so that's why you got into it?
Yeah, he was kicking my ass, and he was kicking my ass so easily, and he talked so greatly about the guys also. So October 2021, I went to the garage at Dan's place, the Danimo, for my first practice.
Yeah.
And it took one practice, and then that was it. I've been
got
doing
you
it.
hooked?
It got me hooked.
Yeah. So, okay. Arm wrestling has been growing.
Yes.
Like, really, like, a lot.
Significant.
The past, especially
Pandemic.
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, how do you think the next 2 or 3 years where arm wrestling will be in terms of that, like the regional scene?
Yeah.
Because I know you're climbing up the ladder, and especially in Ontario, also Quebec as well.
So I think, and I've seen the sport. So this is what's fun about arm wrestling, is that this past couple, we're seeing the sport evolve where no other sport gets to. Basketball is already founded.
Yeah.
Soccer, all these, you're not seeing those sports evolve as fast as our sport is growing.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting, the timing in what we're in right now. And the one thing I noticed the most, especially with our club, is the age group. The age group is getting younger and younger, and they know coming into their first practice a lot more than
Before.
Even I came, it was already on YouTube, so I got to look at a lot of stuff. So I kind of came in with, I'm sure, more knowledge than guys I started 10, 15 years ago. But now it's crazy. They're younger, and they're strong, and they're really into it, and they understand it as like a real sport. It's not just a little hobby. These kids are into it. I think that's the biggest difference.
They come regularly?
They come regularly. They're hooked. They're hooked as much as we are. Their parents, it's fun to watch their parents first come to a couple of practices, look around, because you know how the garage gets sometimes.
Yeah.
But then to watch that parent leave the kid at the door and be like, I trust these guys with my kid.
That's pretty cool.
Is amazing. And I think that's a big part of the sport, is how much younger it's getting. And those young guys in 2, 3, 4 years are going to be so advanced.
Yeah, in terms of like technique,
knowledge, strength, because they're training at home, they're learning techniques.
Yeah.
They're catching up to guys that have been doing this for 2 years, 3 years, and they're freshly in. So I think that's the biggest involvement in the sport that I've noticed, and where I see it becoming, is that those kids in 3 years are going to be killers.
Yeah. Let's talk about the club a little bit. We tell people that it's the best club in the world.
100% best club in the world, the Ottawa Highhookers.
So objectively, what's your opinion? What makes us a really good club?
I think,
apart from,
of
having
course,
a lot of people.
Of course. I think it's the wide range of people we have at our club. We have people from all different walks of life, and with all one goal is just that we want to become better. That's not only arm wrestling, it's everything. It's a brotherhood, and we're all growing together. And I think the brotherhood aspect of our club is what makes the difference between other places. I can't say I've been to 20 clubs in my life, but from what I see is that we're doing more than just arm wrestling. We sit down, we talk about life, we're brothers, there's more than just arm wrestling going on. We have maybe 8 tables at the club, 9 tables at the club. So we're not always arm wrestling. There's so many of us that at some point at dead times, and we're living through life together. So whatever experiences you're living on your personal life, or hardships or happy moments, we are all sharing that together. And I think that's what makes us the best club in the world. We do also have the best arm wrestler in the world in our club, but even I know he doesn't want all that attention on it. It's about us as a unity, right? As a unit. But he's the tip of our spear, and the whole spear is really what makes us awesome.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, the level is from someone started yesterday.
Exactly. That's an important part of
the
it.
world champion, like
exactly.
Devon, right?
That's the thing with our club. Also, people can be intimidated of coming to practice with the Ottawa High Hookers, but it's opposite from that. You'll find, so there's ladders, right? There's steps to a ladder of strength and knowledge, and you'll find a guy, like you said, who's just started yesterday that you could arm wrestle with, and there's so many steps between that person and guys like Devon, Porky, Slim. And even between those 3 guys I just named, there's so many steps. So I think that's really such an important part of why the Ottawa High Hookers are so great, is that everybody could find someone to train with.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with it. I agree. So let's talk about what you plan for the future. You are a competitive arm wrestler.
Yeah.
You have leveled up really significantly the last year, I think. And you've been doing it for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So there's a tournament coming up. I think you're going.
Yeah.
Tell me about that tournament.
So I'm not as I'm not as competitive as some of the other guys are, because unfortunately weekends for me are and that's when tournaments happen. They're a little harder for me to attend sometimes. So my goals right now is that when I do get a chance to go to a tournament, is really to get a good prep for it, since I don't get to go to a lot of these tournaments, and I really want in the next year that if I go to a tournament, we podium. I want to make it top 3. Finding the right weight class also right now is kind of my thing, because a lot of tournaments, I'm 230 pounds, right? So a lot of tournaments I've been cutting down to 210, and sometimes I give up the weight cut to go in a heavier weight class, and it's kind of finding the right place. And that's what I'm working on also, is finding that right weight class and power level. But one of my main goals for the next year and for the years to come really is to be a good training partner. I think that's more important for me than anything. I want to make the guys around me better. And if I could do that, I know for a fact that if the guys I'm pulling are getting better, then I'm getting better. And watching the sports grow, that's really my objectives. Tournaments and wins, that's all fun and stuff. But I really want to be the best training partner I can be for the guys around me, because I know if I could do that for them, I'm getting it back also. So that's a big part of it for me. And I'm also I like super matches, and I haven't gotten a chance to do as many super matches as I wanted this year, but I think in the next coming year, I really enjoy super matches. I enjoy the war of a super match. Tournaments, it's not personal. Tournaments, it's quick, it's done, on to the next one.
It's different, right?
I like the fight. I really like to go with someone and figure them out and figure out techniques and make changes to the game plan, because it's a lot of rounds. And that aspect of arm wrestling, I truly love the war. I love the war.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do like super match better than tournaments. I think it tells a better story. Regarding who's a better arm wrestler, because you get to pull them multiple times, and on the trial, right? Like in a day. So I feel like it tells a better story of
exactly, and you get to express yourself too in a super match. You can really let out your emotions, because like you said, we're living a storyline. There's ups, there's downs, and you're your own character. And I think that's another thing too I love about his personalities, right?
Yeah.
Some guys are very calm and they'll arm wrestle very stoically and not show much emotions. For the people that have seen me arm, I'm a little different. I like to let out, because when it's a super match, I feel like, or anytime we're competing in arm wrestling and it's not practice, we're competing.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy to, we're all men here, we all have frustrations and whatnot, and a lot of us that are in this sport kind of have an inner
Arm wrestling, you go in, you come out of it not damaged at all. Apart from your arm, right?
So it's a good place to just rage, just let it out. It's a fight, so we both agree that we're doing this. Let's go at it 100% and live it. Not everybody's like that. But I think it's a healthy part that arm wrestling brings to me also. It's that relief of
the stress,
exactly,
the anger,
just fight.
Yeah.
But nobody's getting hurt.
Yeah.
But nobody's getting hurt.
Yeah, I think a lot of people come into the sport is to release some steam too, right?
Yeah.
I think me too, part of it. Yeah, for sure. And the fun of it too. Like it's also the social aspect of it,
100%.
right? Like you get to meet people, from all walks of life. You get to learn from them. You help each other. You get to know them, and it makes you a better, not just a better arm wrestler, but a better person. Too.
100%.
Yeah. A good environment, right?
That's one thing, man. Like mental health,
Yeah.
I think it's such an important part of the community, is what we bring to each other and how healthy it is in so many aspects of life, not just physically, but how healthy it is to be surrounded by. And I think it's even good for those younger guys to see the older guys kind of, let loose and have fun and be their real selves, really, because we live in a world now where being a man who screams and shouts and who wants to be strong is not always seen as they're trying to kill, like, I don't want to say society is, but it's something now that's almost a little bit frowned upon to be like a very masculine man. And I think it's good for those younger guys to come out and see real men being men, And like I said, and the fun part of it is seeing those parents at first walk into the garage and kind of look at us like, what's going on here?
We look different from what we actually are sometimes, and then you get to be in that environment, and it changes your perspective.
Exactly.
If you spend enough time.
Exactly.
Right?
If you come and you spend enough time with us, you'll realize, and sometimes all it takes is one practice. I hear it all the time, guys that come in and go, this place is awesome. And they just fall in love with it, and they just come for the brotherhood, really. So a lot of guys don't even compete at our club. A lot of guys are just there to be a part, just to be a part.
Yeah, to be a part, and they just, sometimes I see some of our club member, they just go there just to be there, right? They don't have to arm wrestle, and they just be there to socialize.
Exactly.
As well.
Exactly.
And help each other. That's great. Now let's talk about big match coming up.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so excited for it. I cannot wait. So I want to ask you objectively, what do you think? How does the match go this time, objectively?
So, I think we're talking about Devon versus Laval here.
Yes, Devon versus Laval, April 20th, 2024.
So, I think it's going to be once again Devon's greatest challenge, and it's going to be a war for sure. And I think Devon has to give it his all. There's no room for error, clearly, because we're talking about Laval here. But Devon's a very precise man. He's a very sharp man. And I think the training that his training camp and his road to Laval is what's telling the story right now, is that at first they used to say he was dodging Europeans, and then he went and just killed all of them.
Yeah.
So the way the story is going right now, I think we're winning, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think Devon's really going to have to hold center and not. Levon got hurt, right? His wrist, we don't know how strong his wrist is. Maybe that's the storyline there, is are we going to crack that wrist back,
Yeah.
And
Devon believes that he cannot be pressed, right? unflappable.
And Devon is strong right now, and he did his whole training camp this time at the Ottawa High Hooker. So we got to live the role, and he's only getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, to the point where for every match that I've pulled with him, getting ready for a match, I think by far he's the strongest he's ever been, and I'm the strongest I've ever been. So. I mean, I'm nothing, I'm nothing compared, but when I'm holding his hand, I feel the power.
There is a big difference now. I know John, your brother, he is one of the top trainers for Devon, right?
Yeah.
And he couldn't do anything. Like he couldn't even move Devon off a little bit, right? Just sticky in the middle there.
And I think the mindset right now, I think he's minded for everything invested. So I don't like to make predictions really, because it's a fight.
Let's say we hope that Devon wins.
100%, 100%. Regardless, arm wrestler comes out the winner. Arm wrestling comes out the winner of all of this.
Yeah.
I think the arm wrestling community, we all come out of a winner from a match like that.
Yeah. Cannot wait for that. All right.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for dropping by again.
Thanks
and
for
we have
having
a
me.
practice tonight. How are you feeling?
I feel like shit, but
I think you look good.
stay massive, guys.
Let's share this. See you guys.